guy was on the stand for quite some time, but there were some moments that are hard to forget. Okay,
Oh, boy.
Sergeant.
Oh boy.
But I'm not going to argue about semantics here.
Well, you'll agree that words matter, right? I mean, you're testifying, so words do matter.
Words do matter. That's important.
So working off of your, as you put it, your theory, you theorized that there was an impact spot at 34 Ferry, correct?
Based on the statement I hit him, I assumed that Mr. O'Keefe was impacted with something. Initial hours of the investigation, we had those statements, I hit him. We had the statements that, oh my God, did I hit him? So utilizing that information with the evidence at that point that we had was a broken cocktail glass. So a theory would be, why is the cocktail glass broken? Because it came into contact with the victim. So that's why my information communicated to the ME's office was a possible domestic involving a glass strike to the victim. As a result, we had to go and see the victim's body and the injuries. So Mr. O'Keefe's injuries presented a certain way, and we learned more information. So the more information that comes in, the more information that we are able to corroborate statements and collect evidence that further corroborates other information is helpful in the investigation. That's how investigations develop. If we knew everything we knew from day one, there wouldn't be a process of developing investigation.
So the answer to my question, Sergeant, is you were working off of a theory, correct? Yes or no?
We were working off a report of an injured male party, and then we developed the information, collected the evidence, and developed the investigation.
Do you know what the word theory means?
I'm sorry, English is like a third language for me. So if you can bring up the Webster's Dictionary, I can read it out.
You want me to pull up the Webster's Dictionary? You want to take a break real quick and pull up the Webster's Dictionary to define a word that you used in an answer about 40 seconds ago? We're working off of a theory, quote unquote. You said it, not me. You want me to go get a dictionary so we can figure out for the jurors what that word means?
Objection.
All right, Mr. Dave, let's move.
Okay, so it's it's his third language. I think his fourth, which he is fluent in, is assholery, because he's definitely got that down to a science. What a jerk! I mean, again, Olivia, I start thinking, what's going through this guy's mind? Does he think this makes him look good to the jury? That it makes him look believable? That it helps him? It helps the Commonwealth?
So I'm so glad that you played this clip, because I actually looked up the word theory in Ukrainian and Russian.
Of course you did.
You know what? It sounds like almost exactly the same in both of those languages as it does in English, and it's spelled nearly the same. So
that's so funny. I mean, it's just so absurd when he's used the word twice in the last 45 seconds, and now all of a sudden, because he wants to be a smartass, I don't know. I know 3 languages. That's not, I mean,
he just wants to be difficult and
of course
can't give a direct answer. But you know what else is interesting about that? Everything that he just testified in that little clip is that at 10:41 a.m. on January 29th, 2022, Yuri called the office of the chief medical examiner to report that they were investigating the case now as a domestic assault. And so it's interesting how he is so firm and confident, in his testimony. He's about there being a car impact, a car collision. But yet his actions on the day of the investigation dictate otherwise. They were calling and reporting that they were investigating as suspicious, and they believed it was a domestic assault with a cocktail glass. And that's obviously very different than a vehicle pedestrian strike. So
wow,
looks like they weren't that confident.
Hey, dude, can you pronounce theory in Russian? Can you do that?
I think it's like Theoria or like
Ah.
Theor something like that. Yeah. I had Google pronounce it for me.
Ah, okay.
I love
All
it. I
right.
never thought about that, Olivia. That is so great. That is really fabulous. We're gonna, of course,
That's
everyone,
amazing, right?
everyone here now, everyone go do that right now, because we're gonna all, obviously when we get off the air, we're gonna do that. By the way, while you're doing that, Kay Schmidt gifted 5 Justice Serve TV.
Thank you,
memberships.
Kay Schmidt.
Kay. Thank you, Kay, for people. We always say that because people want to get these. It's expensive for people. You pay $2.99. It's expensive for a lot of people to do this monthly, and the graciousness of our viewers who do that for people. And we've seen people in the chat say, look, I'd like to get one. I really want to be a member. And so we thank you all, and just so gracious for everybody. Just wonderful. And of course, guests like Olivia make this like what it is, because I've been following her before she even knew who we were. We were like, I got to follow Olivia. Right?
I stole her stuff. I stole her stuff right out. I gave her credit, but I stole it. She had some
Hey,
great
that's the
graphics.
point, though. Get the word out.
Yeah, that was back in the initial inverted video days.
Oh,
you
yeah, I
you did a
remember
great
that.
job kind of highlighting things like remember what happened was, first of all, in trial 1 they were outed as having the inverted video. That was, oh my gosh, we didn't even realize. Then they changed the story to say, well, it's always been inverted, and they provided some video from post and prior, and the graphics were different colors, right? And so
Yeah, exactly. They had changed the time. The whole timestamp it was changed.
Yeah, so you created a
And the
nice
placement of
graphic to point that out. So that was my first theft of Olivia's work.